profound grief while facing a deluge of life-altering decisions. For the elderly, this period can be particularly daunting, as the intersection of emotional vulnerability and practical responsibilities often leads to choices that may jeopardize financial stability, emotional well-being, and physical health. The overwhelming nature of grief can cloud judgment, making it easy to fall into traps that, while seemingly benign at the time, can have long-lasting repercussions. This guide is designed to help you navigate this challenging chapter by highlighting 5 critical mistakes to avoid after your spouse passes away. By steering clear of these pitfalls, you can protect your future, honor your spouse's memory, and find a path toward healing with clarity and dignity. Introduction: the weight of loss and the need for caution. The death of a spouse is often described as one of life's most traumatic experiences. It's not just the emotional toll of losing a lifelong partner, it's the sudden shift in responsibilities, the loneliness that creeps in, and the pressure to make decisions that can shape the rest of your life. In the midst of grief, it's natural to feel overwhelmed, and the urge to act quickly to regain a sense of control can be strong. However, this is precisely when caution is most needed. Grief can distort your perspective, making it difficult to discern what's truly in your best interest. The choices you make during this vulnerable time can either support your healing or lead to unnecessary regret, financial strain, or emotional setbacks. The elderly, in particular, face unique challenges after losing a spouse. Years of shared routines, financial interdependence, and mutual support are suddenly disrupted, leaving you to navigate a new reality alone. The decisions you make in the wake of this loss, whether financial, social, or personal, can have a profound impact on your future. This article will explore 5 common mistakes that many widows and widowers unknowingly make, often realizing too late that they weren't ready for the consequences. By understanding these pitfalls in advance, you can protect your emotional, financial, and physical well-being, ensuring that you move forward with the clarity and support you deserve. Mistake 1: rushing into major financial decisions. The temptation to act quickly. One of the most frequent mistakes people make after losing a spouse is diving into major financial decisions without adequate reflection. The sudden responsibility of managing finances alone can feel daunting, especially if your spouse handled most of the monetary affairs during your marriage. You may find yourself dealing with bank accounts, insurance policies, investments, and even the question of whether to keep or sell your home. In the midst of grief, taking immediate action might seem like a way to regain stability or assert control over an uncertain future. However, this is a dangerous trap. Grief is a powerful emotion that can cloud judgment, impair decision-making, and make you more susceptible to impulsive choices. Decisions that seem logical in the moment, such as selling your home to downsize or cashing out investments, might not align with your long-term needs. Many widows and widowers feel pressure from well-meaning friends, family, or financial advisors to act quickly. For example, you might be urged to sell your house to reduce expenses or move to a new location for a fresh start. While these suggestions may come from a place of concern, they often fail to account for the emotional adjustment period you need after such a significant loss. Real-life consequences. Consider the story of 74-year-old Margaret, who lost her husband of 40 years. In the weeks following his passing, Margaret was inundated with advice from friends and family, many of whom suggested she downsize her home. The idea made sense on paper: less space to maintain, lower expenses, and a chance to start anew. Eager to feel a sense of progress, Margaret sold the house they had lived in for 4 decades and moved into a smaller apartment in a different town. But as the initial shock of her loss began to fade, Margaret realized she had acted too hastily. She missed the familiar surroundings of her old home, the neighbors who had become like family, and the comfort of the space where she and her husband had built their life together. In hindsight, she wished she had given herself more time to process her grief before making such a monumental decision. Margaret's story is not uncommon. Many elderly individuals who make rushed financial decisions after losing a spouse find themselves grappling with regret. Selling a home, for instance, is not just a financial transaction, it's an emotional one. Your home is likely filled with memories of your spouse, and letting go of that space before you're ready can deepen your sense of loss. Similarly, other financial moves, such as liquidating investments or giving away large sums of money, can leave you in a precarious position down the road. The risk of financial predators. Another danger of acting too quickly is the risk of falling prey to financial predators. Newly widowed individuals, particularly the elderly, are often targeted by scammers who see vulnerability as an opportunity. Unsolicited investment opportunities, High-pressure sales tactics, and even well-intentioned but uninformed advice from friends can lead to costly mistakes. For example, you might be approached with an exclusive investment opportunity that promises quick returns, only to discover later that it was a scam. Or you might be pressured to sign paperwork for a financial product you don't fully understand, resulting in unexpected fees or losses. The danger of premature generosity. Grief can also trigger a desire to help others, which, while admirable, can lead to financial missteps. Many widows and widowers feel a strong urge to give away money or assets to children, grandchildren, charities, or friends as a way to honor their spouse's memory or find purpose in their loss. While generosity is a noble trait, making large financial gifts or dividing assets prematurely can jeopardize your own financial security. What seems manageable in the moment might not be sustainable in the years ahead, especially if unexpected expenses arise or your financial needs change. A smarter approach, the one-year rule. To avoid these pitfalls, experts often recommend following the one-year rule, a guideline that suggests waiting at least a year before making any irreversible financial decisions. This waiting period allows the initial emotional shock of your loss to subside, giving you the clarity needed to make thoughtful, well-informed choices. During this time, focus on stabilization rather than drastic changes. Pay your bills, maintain your current lifestyle as much as possible, and take stock of your financial situation with the help of a trusted professional. If you're unsure where to start, consult a financial advisor who specializes in working with seniors or those who have experienced loss. A good advisor can help you understand your long-term needs, assess your assets, and create a plan that ensures your financial security. They can also help you identify any government benefits you may be eligible for, such as Social Security survivor benefits or veterans' pensions, which can provide additional support during this transition. Practical steps to protect yourself. Here are some practical steps to take when faced with financial decisions after losing your spouse. Pause and reflect. Resist the urge to act immediately, even if you feel pressure from others. Give yourself time to process your emotions before making any major moves. Seek professional guidance. Work with a financial advisor, accountant, or attorney who can provide objective advice tailored to your situation. Be cautious of unsolicited offers. If someone approaches you with an investment opportunity or financial product, take a step back and verify their credentials. Never sign paperwork under pressure. Understand your finances. Take the time to review your bank accounts, investments, insurance policies, and other assets. If your spouse managed the finances, consider taking a financial literacy course to build your confidence. Secure your benefits. Research and apply for any survivor benefits you may be entitled to. These funds can provide a crucial safety net as you navigate this transition. By taking these steps, you can avoid the added stress of financial missteps and ensure that your decisions align with your long-term well-being. Losing a spouse is already one of life's most difficult transitions. Don't compound the challenge with rushed financial choices. Mistake 2. Isolating yourself from friends and family. The pull of solitude. After losing a spouse, it's natural to crave solitude. Grief is a deeply personal experience, and the pain of loss can make social interactions feel overwhelming or even irrelevant. You might find yourself wanting to retreat from the world, seeking the quiet space to process your emotions and memories. While taking time for yourself is an important part of healing, completely shutting out friends and family can lead to a deeper sense of loneliness that makes recovery even harder. Many widows and widowers fall into the habit of isolating themselves, often telling themselves they just need more time. They may decline invitations to family gatherings, stop answering phone calls, or avoid leaving the house altogether. While this withdrawal might feel comforting at first, it can quickly become a pattern that's difficult to break. Over time, isolation can erode your emotional well-being, leaving you feeling more disconnected and alone than ever. The impact of isolation. Human connection is a fundamental part of emotional health, especially during times of loss. When you distance yourself from loved ones for too long, you risk experiencing increased feelings of sadness, anxiety, and even depression. Studies have shown that prolonged social isolation can have serious physical consequences as well, including a weakened immune system, higher blood pressure, and a shortened lifespan. For the elderly, who may already be at greater risk for health issues, the effects of isolation can be particularly devastating. Isolation can also create a vicious cycle. The more you withdraw, the harder it becomes to reach out, and the more isolated you feel, the less motivated you are to reconnect. This cycle can leave you trapped in a state of loneliness that feels impossible to escape, even as your need for support grows. A real-life example. Take the case of 78-year-old Walter, who lost his wife of 52 years. In the months following her passing, Walter stopped engaging with the world around him. He ignored phone calls from his children, skipped family gatherings, and rarely left the house. He told himself he wasn't in the mood to talk, that others wouldn't understand his grief, and that being alone was easier. But as the months passed, Walter's isolation began to take a toll. His days blurred together, his energy levels plummeted, and he even lost his appetite. He felt worse, not better, with each passing day. It wasn't until a persistent neighbor insisted he come over for coffee that things began to shift. That single interaction sparked a small change in Walter's routine. The coffee meetups became a weekly habit, and eventually, he started joining friends for short outings. The more he engaged, the lighter he felt, not because his grief disappeared, but because he realized he wasn't alone in his pain. The presence of others reminded him that he was still part of a community, even without his spouse. Small steps toward connection. The key to avoiding this mistake is to take small, manageable steps toward staying connected, even when you don't feel like it. You don't have to dive into large social situations or pretend to be okay when you're not. Instead, focus on simple actions that keep you tethered to the people who care about you. Answer a phone call from a friend, go for a short walk with a family member, or attend a support group where you can simply listen if you're not ready to talk. If you're struggling to find the motivation to connect, consider joining a grief support group or community gathering. These spaces are designed for people who have experienced similar losses, and they can provide a sense of validation and understanding that's hard to find elsewhere. Online forums can also be a good option if leaving the house feels too daunting. The goal isn't to force yourself into situations that feel overwhelming. It's to maintain a lifeline to the outside world, even in small ways. Overcoming the urge to push people away. Another common mistake is pushing away those who care about you the most. Grief can bring irritability, exhaustion, or a sense that others simply don't understand what you're going through. It's easy to become frustrated with well-meaning friends or family members who don't know the right thing to say. But shutting people out completely can create unnecessary distance, leaving you without the support you need when you're ready to accept it. Your loved ones may not have the perfect words, but their presence alone can make a difference. Letting them in, even a little at a time, can provide comfort and remind you that you're not alone. If you're feeling overwhelmed by their attempts to help, communicate your needs honestly. For example, you might say, "I'm not ready to talk much, but I'd appreciate it if you could just sit with me for a while." Most people will be happy to support you in whatever way you need. The healing power of shared experiences. Connecting with others who have experienced similar losses can be especially healing. Grief support groups, whether in person or online, offer a safe space to share your feelings and hear from others who truly understand what you're going through. These interactions can validate your emotions, reduce feelings of isolation, and provide reassurance that you're not alone in your journey. Many elderly individuals find that these groups also offer practical advice for navigating life after loss, from managing finances to coping with loneliness. Ultimately, grief doesn't follow a schedule, and there's no right way to heal. But staying completely isolated can make the journey harder than it needs to be. By finding small ways to reconnect with others at your own pace, you can tap into the strength, support, and even moments of joy that human connection provides. You don't have to carry the weight of your loss alone. There are people who care about you, who want to be there for you, and who can help you take those first steps forward. Mistake 3. Neglecting your own health and well-being. The physical and emotional toll of grief. When a spouse passes away, the overwhelming nature of grief can make it easy to neglect your own health. Many widows and widowers find themselves so consumed by their emotions that they stop paying attention to their physical and mental well-being. Doctors' appointments get postponed, meals are skipped, and daily routines fall by the wayside. Some even feel guilty about taking care of themselves, as if prioritizing their health somehow diminishes the depth of their love or grief. But the reality is that neglecting your well-being doesn't bring you closer to your spouse. It only makes your journey forward more difficult. Grief doesn't just affect your emotions. It takes a significant toll on your body as well. Studies have shown that losing a spouse increases the risk of heart problems, weakens immune function, and can even lead to cognitive decline. The stress of grief can manifest in physical symptoms such as high blood pressure, disrupted sleep, and changes in appetite. Some people lose interest in eating altogether, while others turn to unhealthy comfort foods as a coping mechanism. Over time, these changes can lead to serious health issues, particularly for the elderly, who may already be managing chronic conditions. A case study in neglect. Consider the experience of 81-year-old James, who lost his wife after a long battle with illness. In the months following her death, James stopped cooking meals for himself, telling himself he just wasn't hungry. When he did eat, he often opted for quick, processed foods that were easy to prepare but lacked nutritional value. Within a few months, James began to feel weaker, struggled with insomnia, and experienced constant fatigue. His daughter noticed the changes and encouraged him to start eating regular meals again, even if he didn't feel like it. With her support, James began preparing simple, nutritious foods and drinking more water. Over time, his energy levels improved, his mood stabilized, and he felt better equipped to handle the emotional waves of grief. James's story highlights a common pattern among those who lose a spouse, the tendency to let self-care slip in the face of overwhelming loss. But neglecting your health doesn't just affect your physical body, it impacts your ability to cope with grief and move forward. Without proper nutrition, sleep, and exercise, your body and mind become less resilient, making it harder to process your emotions and find moments of peace. The importance of small choices. The key to avoiding this mistake is to focus on small, manageable choices that help your body stay strong as you navigate this difficult time. You don't have to expect yourself to feel normal overnight. Grief is a long and complex process, but taking care of your basic needs can make a significant difference in how you feel both physically and emotionally. Start with nutrition. Even if you don't have much of an appetite, try to eat regular, balanced meals. Keep simple, healthy foods on hand, such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. If cooking feels overwhelming, ask a family member or friend to help you prepare meals, or consider a meal delivery service designed for seniors. Staying hydrated is equally important. Dehydration can exacerbate fatigue and mood swings, so make a conscious effort to drink water throughout the day. Exercise is another critical component of self-care. Many people who lose a spouse stop exercising, often because they no longer have a partner to share activities with. But staying physically active, even in small ways, can reduce stress, boost your mood, and improve your overall health. A short daily walk, gentle stretching, or a chair yoga class can make a big difference. For some, joining a local walking group or exercise class can provide both physical benefits and much-needed social connection. The risks of skipping medical care. Another common mistake is neglecting routine medical checkups. Many widows and widowers delay doctor visits or ignore health concerns because they feel too overwhelmed to deal with them. But this is a time when taking care of your health is more important than ever. Grief can exacerbate existing health conditions or create new ones, so staying on top of your medical care is crucial. If you haven't been to the doctor in a while, schedule an appointment. Regular checkups, managing chronic conditions, and staying current with medications can help you maintain your physical health and give you the strength to navigate your grief. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Grief can lead to depression, anxiety, and feelings of hopelessness, especially when combined with isolation. If you're struggling, don't hesitate to seek help. Speaking with a counselor, joining a grief support group, or even confiding in a trusted friend can provide relief and reassurance. Seeking support is not a sign of weakness. It's a proactive step toward healing. Many elderly individuals find that professional counseling helps them process their emotions in a safe, non-judgmental space, while support groups offer the added benefit of connecting with others who understand their experience. Honoring your spouse through self-care. It's also important to reframe how you think about self-care. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean you're diminishing your love for your spouse or moving on too quickly. On the contrary, it's a way to honor their memory by ensuring that you continue to live with strength and purpose. Your spouse would have wanted you to be healthy and happy, even in their absence. By prioritizing your well-being, you're not only helping yourself, you're also preserving the legacy of the life you built together. Grief is a heavy burden, but neglecting your health only makes it harder to carry. By making small, intentional choices to care for your body and mind, you can build the resilience needed to navigate this challenging chapter. You are still here, and your well-being matters. Don't let grief rob you of the opportunity to live fully in the years ahead. Mistake 4. Rushing into a new relationship. The emotional void of loss. Losing a spouse leaves an emotional void that can feel impossible to fill. For many, the loneliness that follows is one of the hardest parts of grief. After years or even decades of companionship, The absence of your partner can create a deep longing for connection, leading some to seek out new relationships as a way to cope. While there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting companionship, rushing into a new relationship before you've fully processed your grief can lead to more heartache, confusion, and regret. Grief doesn't follow a timeline, and everyone heals at their own pace. Some people take years before they even consider dating again, while others feel ready sooner. But when your emotions are still raw, the risk of entering a relationship for the wrong reasons is high. Many widows and widowers unknowingly seek a partner not because they're truly ready, but because they're trying to fill the void left by their spouse, avoid loneliness, or escape the pain of grief. These relationships often start with intense emotions, but lack the stability needed for long-term success. A cautionary tale. Consider the experience of 72-year-old Barbara, who lost her husband of nearly 50 years. Just a few months after his passing, Barbara met someone through a mutual friend and quickly entered a new relationship. At first, it felt like the companionship she desperately needed, someone to talk to, share meals with, and distract her from the overwhelming loneliness. But as the relationship progressed, Barbara realized she wasn't truly ready. The relationship moved faster than she expected, and she soon felt trapped in something that didn't feel right. She began to experience conflicting emotions, including guilt over moving on so quickly and frustration with herself for not being fully present in the new relationship. Eventually, she had to step back and take time for herself, but she later wished she had given herself more time to heal before jumping into something new. Barbara's story illustrates a common pattern among those who rush into relationships after losing a spouse. When you've spent decades with a partner, the habits, routines, and shared memories are deeply ingrained. Entering a new relationship before processing that loss can lead to unfair comparisons, unrealistic expectations, and feelings of guilt. You might find yourself longing for the way things were with your spouse, or feeling as though you're betraying their memory by moving forward. These emotions are natural, but they need to be acknowledged and worked through before you can fully open yourself up to someone new. The risk of exploitation. Another concern is the risk of being vulnerable to those with bad intentions. Unfortunately, widowed seniors are often targeted by scammers or opportunistic individuals who prey on their emotional fragility. These people may offer companionship or emotional support as a way to gain your trust, only to manipulate or exploit you financially. For example, you might encounter someone who pressures you to make financial decisions, such as lending them money or investing in a questionable venture. Others might encourage you to distance yourself from friends and family, isolating you further and making you more dependent on them. This is why it's essential to trust your instincts and take your time. If someone is pushing you to commit quickly, make financial decisions, or distance yourself from your support system, these are red flags that shouldn't be ignored. A healthy relationship, especially after such a significant loss, should be built on mutual respect, patience, and understanding, not pressure or manipulation. The importance of healing first. This doesn't mean you should avoid love or companionship forever. Many widows and widowers do find meaningful relationships later in life, and these connections can bring immense joy and fulfillment. But the healthiest and most successful relationships happen when both individuals are truly ready, when the decision to be together comes from a place of healing, not desperation. Time and reflection are key. Before seeking a new partner, take the time to process your grief and rediscover your own identity. After years of being part of a couple, it's important to reconnect with who you are as an individual. What are your interests, values, and goals for the future? What do you want in a relationship, and what are you able to give? Finding peace in being alone, without relying on someone else to fill the void, can help you build a stronger foundation for any future relationship. If you do choose to date again, go at your own pace. Take the time to understand what you truly want in a partner, and make sure you're entering the relationship for the right reasons. Talk with trusted friends or family members about your feelings, and don't let anyone pressure you into moving faster than you're comfortable with. Whether others think it's too soon or that you shouldn't be alone, the decision is yours and yours alone. Grief and healing are deeply personal journeys, and there's no rush to find someone new. Building a foundation for future companionship. When you're ready to explore a new relationship, focus on building a connection based on genuine compatibility and shared values. Look for someone who respects your past, understands your need for time, and supports your healing journey. Be honest with yourself and your potential partner about where you are emotionally, and don't be afraid to set boundaries. A healthy relationship should enhance your life, not complicate it further. Ultimately, the most important thing is to take care of yourself first. By giving yourself the time and space to heal, you can ensure that any new relationship you enter is built on a foundation of strength, peace, and true companionship. There's no deadline for love, and there's no rulebook for grief. Trust yourself to know when you're ready, and don't let loneliness push you into a decision that could lead to more pain. Mistake 5. Holding on to every possession without letting go. The emotional weight of possessions. One of the most challenging aspects of losing a spouse is deciding what to do with their belongings. Every item, whether it's a piece of clothing, a favorite book, or a small keepsake, holds memories of the life you shared together. The thought of letting go of these possessions can feel like losing your spouse all over again, leading many widows and widowers to hold on to everything in an effort to preserve their memory. While it's natural to want to keep these items close, clinging to every possession indefinitely can sometimes make grief heavier, preventing you from moving forward emotionally. It's understandable to want to hold on to your spouse's belongings. These items are tangible reminders of the person you loved, and letting go of them can feel like letting go of your connection to them. Many people fear that moving or changing anything means erasing the life they shared, so they leave everything exactly as it was: their spouse's shoes by the door, their clothes in the closet, their favorite chair untouched. But over time, this approach can turn your home into a shrine of grief rather than a place of comfort, making it harder to adjust to a new chapter of life. A story of stagnation. Take the case of 76-year-old Harold, who lost his wife of 55 years. In the aftermath of her passing, Harold left everything in their home exactly as she had left it. Her shoes remained by the front door, her clothes stayed in the closet, and her favorite chair sat empty, a silent reminder of her absence. At first, Harold found comfort in these untouched belongings, feeling as though they kept his wife close. But as the months passed, he realized that walking past these items every day was keeping him stuck in the same emotional place. The constant reminders of her absence made it harder for him to find peace, and he began to feel trapped by the weight of his grief. Eventually, Harold decided to take a small step forward. He wasn't ready to get rid of everything, but he began by sorting through his wife's belongings, keeping a few meaningful items, like a piece of jewelry and a handwritten note, and donating the rest to charity. To his surprise, this process brought him a sense of relief. It wasn't about forgetting his wife, it was about making room for healing. By letting go of some of her possessions, Harold was able to create a space where he could grieve without being overwhelmed by constant reminders of his loss. Finding a balance. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or loving your spouse any less. It means giving yourself permission to breathe and create a space where you can heal. The goal isn't to get rid of everything. It's to find a balance between honoring your spouse's memory and making room for your own well-being. Start small by choosing a few meaningful keepsakes that hold special significance, such as a piece of jewelry, a favorite photo, or a handwritten letter. Create a dedicated space for these items, like a memory box or a shelf, where you can revisit them whenever you need to feel close to your spouse. Once you've identified these keepsakes, you can begin sorting through other belongings, deciding what truly holds meaning and what is simply taking up space. This process doesn't have to happen all at once. Take your time and move at a pace that feels right for you. If you're not ready to let go of certain items, that's okay. Store them in a box or a separate space until you feel more prepared to make decisions. Repurposing is a healing tool. For some, repurposing items can be a powerful way to honor their spouse's memory while letting go of the physical weight of their possessions. For example, you might turn an old shirt into a quilt, transform a collection of letters into a memory book, or pass down sentimental items to loved ones who will cherish them. These acts allow your spouse's presence to remain in your life in a way that brings warmth and comfort rather than sorrow. Many elderly individuals find that repurposing items helps them feel connected to their spouse while also creating space for new memories. Resisting external pressure. Another mistake to avoid is letting others pressure you into getting rid of things before you're ready. Friends or family members may mean well when they suggest that you clear things out or move on, but this decision should always be made on your own timeline. If you're not ready to let go, don't feel obligated to do so just because someone else thinks it's time. At the same time, be mindful that holding on to everything out of guilt or fear may keep you in a place of sadness longer than necessary. The goal is to find a balance that feels right for you, one that allows you to honor your spouse while also making space for healing. The true nature of grief. Ultimately, grief is not about things. It's about love, memories, and the bond you shared with your spouse. No object can replace the person you lost, and clinging to everything they owned won't bring them back. But letting go in small, thoughtful ways can be a powerful step toward healing. It's not about erasing your spouse's memory. It's about carrying them with you in a way that allows both love and life to coexist. By creating space for your own healing, you're not moving away from your spouse, you're finding a way to move forward while keeping their memory alive in your heart. Final thoughts. Navigating grief with clarity and strength. Losing a spouse is one of life's most profound and painful experiences. It changes everything: the way you live, the way you think, and the way you see the future. In the midst of grief, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the decisions that suddenly fall on your shoulders, from managing finances to navigating loneliness to deciding what to do with your spouse's belongings. But every choice you make during this time has the power to either help or hinder your healing, which is why it's so important to proceed with caution and clarity. By avoiding these 5 devastating mistakes: rushing into financial decisions, isolating yourself, neglecting your health, jumping into a new relationship too soon, and holding on to everything without allowing for change, you can protect your heart, your future, and your well-being. Each of these pitfalls has the potential to deepen your grief or create unnecessary challenges, but with awareness and intentionality, you can navigate this chapter of your life with strength and dignity. Grief doesn't come with a timeline, and there's no right or wrong way to process it. Some days will be harder than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you give yourself the time, space, and support you need to heal. Surround yourself with people who care about you, seek professional guidance when necessary, and prioritize your physical and emotional health. Most importantly, be gentle with yourself. You've experienced a tremendous loss, and healing will take time. Moving forward doesn't mean leaving your spouse behind. It means honoring their memory in a way that allows you to continue living with purpose, peace, and even joy in the moments ahead. Your spouse would want you to find happiness again, to take care of yourself, and to embrace the life you have left. By avoiding these common mistakes, you can create a future that respects the past while making room for new possibilities. If you found this guide helpful, consider sharing it with others who might be going through a similar experience. Grief can feel isolating, but knowing that others have walked this path and that there are ways to navigate it with care can provide immense comfort. Take things one day at a time, and trust that with patience and support, you'll find your way forward.